up, duders? It's FNS Wrestling Podcast, back with another podcast.
That's true.
Yes. I am hosting this time because I cover Dynamite, and this is my co-host. He's my dad.
Hello, I'm here again.
Yes. We're doing this because Dynamite chose to go on Saturdays.
Right, and you said next week too?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's super convenient for us because now we get to do a second podcast, which we will title Episode 65B.
Right, so Episode 65A, I guess you'd call it, was out yesterday, right? So if you're interested, it's already been posted.
Yes.
But it's missing AEW Dynamite, which we're going to tackle right now, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
So we will start that now. And CM Punk comes out because he is on commentary again. It's weird. He seems to be wrestling mainly on Rampage.
Yeah, he's like on commentary on Dynamite and wrestling on Rampage.
Which I find to be kind of odd because he does seem... But at the same time, he's such a draw that maybe that is why he's only wrestling on Rampage.
They can double him up.
Because they want to draw more people to Rampage because people are already...
Right.
Stuck to Dynamite.
Yes.
Like, I think Rampage still needs to find that.
And then the Dynamite viewers can't complain that they don't get Punk because they do, but it's just not in match form. If you want to see him wrestle, then you got to come back Friday.
So he wore tights in his first match, which is gross. Then he wore trunks against Hobbs. Then he wore tights again, I think, against Garcia. And then in his recent match against Seidel, which was the day before Dynamite, he wore trunks again.
Yeah, that was a pretty good match.
Yeah, I just stick to the trunks, man.
Just stick to the trunks, CM Punk. I'm sure he listens to this, so he probably just didn't know that we didn't like the tights.
Oh, I think I've made it clear.
You have mentioned it before, yes.
Yes. So our opening match, though, is Malakai Black versus Dante Martin, which was set up last week.
Right, and I kind of forgotten, so I think I'm officially a Dante Martin fan because when I realized it was him facing Black, out loud I went, yes! So I think that's official that I like Dante Martin.
And so I don't know, I thought this was a competitive and well-worked opener.
Mm-hmm.
The notables, I would say, we do start off with some holds and counters, classic.
Yes.
Springboard shotgun dropkick by Dante Martin. He just backs and jumps off the bottom rope. He's not standing on the apron or anything. A running back elbow by Black. Springboard dropkick counter powerbomb by Black. Basically catches a move by Dante Martin and into a powerbomb.
Yep.
And he transitioned to a half crab, but Martin is able to get a rope break. Knee bar by Black after a shin breaker. Martin escapes. Hits a poison Rana.
Really nice.
Yeah. Martin hits a springboard swanton on the outside. He jumped to the top rope from the ground.
Yes, which I was not expecting. Just straight from the mat to the top rope in the middle and then out to the floor. It was cool.
Right. We get a strike exchange, diving Meteora from the middle rope, followed by a roundhouse and a German suplex for 2 by Black.
Awesome sequence.
Yeah, that was really nice. An avalanche hurricanrana by Dante Martin. Double jump springboard moonsault by Martin for 2. Black locks in a half crab, but he has to release due to rib issues, ?
Yeah, that was a little bit all of a sudden, and they were even commentary, right? Was I don't know if he got hit with something there or they were trying to give Dante Martin credit for doing something, but it was just him.
They kind of cut away at least when
he was selling his ribs, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think it was anything, or if Dante Martin did something, they definitely didn't catch it.
No, I didn't see it, so it was a little bit awkward, I thought.
Right. Black sidesteps a springboard move and is able to hit a Black Mass to capture the win.
Yeah. So this reminded me a little bit of, I talked about it on 65, the Bobby Fish Moriarty match from Rampage that I quite liked. This one was significantly better, but it was the same kind of style, I guess, where you have Malakai Black throwing all kinds of things at Dante Martin to keep him try and keep him grounded, right, and stop him from hitting his fast-paced, high-flying offense. And so that lets the viewer, the people there watching on TV as well, we're anticipating Martin's inevitable explosion, right? Because it's coming at some point, and you know it is. So it's sort of Black trying to stop that, the crowd getting ready for that, and then of course it does happen. And I just think Black's offense is so varied and realistic looking. I really like it, and the contrast between his sort of style and then just the speed and athleticism of Dante Martin, I thought it worked really well together. And the whole sudden midsection selling right near the finish did bother me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what happened there. It seemed a bit awkward to me. It took me out of it a little bit, but not enough. So regardless of that, I think the growth of Dante Martin over the last month or maybe a bit more has been incredible. And
I think it's been kind of since that trios match against
yeah, it's like his brother got hurt and then he's been put in some other opportunities and I think he's looked awesome.
Yeah, his brother's been out for a while and I think the real surge for him starting that trios match against, I think it was the Elite.
So yeah, I've been enjoying everything he's doing lately and I thought this was a really good opener.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. Martin got in another good showing and Black looked good again too. I like the targeting the leg throw. It was pretty smart. And he had some cool moves, as did Martin. The stuff towards the end with Black's midsection was confusing, but maybe we missed something. Yeah. So I'll cut him some slack.
Right.
Overall, I thought it was a good opener, though.
Me too. I enjoyed it.
Next, we get an interview with Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy mentions how they're pretty banged up. I think from what was it, last week?
Yes, last week.
It was it was the 8-man tag, right?
Right.
Omega and Cole interrupt, and the Bucks attack Jurassic Express. And then they Omega and the Bucks kind of do a redo of last week. They powerbomb Luchasaurus through a table while Cole holds Jungle Boy in a camel clutch.
Right, because Jungle Boy made what I thought was a pretty funny reference, right? That something about being surprised that Luchasaurus could even walk after that devastating powerbomb, right? Like joking about it kind of thing, winking almost, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because they did kind of botch that move, and then that's when the Elite show up to prove that they can actually hit it. So I don't mind. I like Jungle Boy making reference to it there. It's kind of like a wink at the audience, like we know he botched that move, sort of thing. And yeah, so I had no problem with this segment. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I liked it. Unlike when Cole and Omega were arguing with Jurassic Express, I heard Kenny slipped in. He was like, "They must be desperate if they're giving you TV time," which I thought that was really funny because it wasn't super easy here, but you could kind of I caught that, and I thought that was pretty funny. And Nick Jackson was really amusing at the end. He's just so freaking. They're just so over
the top at this point, right? That they're
it
really
was
fun.
Funny though.
Yep.
Next we get the Inner Circle's reunited, even though they never broke up. I guess they're now finally re-acknowledging that they are.
It's a reminder that yes, we are still a group. I guess.
I guess so. Santana says something in Spanish. He says Miami is one of the cities they can count on to bring the same energy 2 nights in a row because Rampage was the night before.
And that crowd has been awesome for both shows, I think.
Yeah. Santana says, well, he and Ortiz have been handling business, which their business with FTR ended a while ago, so I don't know what they have been doing. What other
business they've been handling?
But yeah, anyways, he says they've noticed that the others in Inner Circle have been doing with the American Top Team. Pretty hard not to notice. Dan Lambert is
Unfortunately,
very
that
obnoxious.
Is true. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Then American Top Team interrupt but they are coming out with many of the year's dope-ass themes. That is
you were happy about that.
Very nice theme. Lambert asks if this is all the Inner Circle members or they're like bringing guys in from Variety or something.
I didn't catch that.
It's
hard. Honestly, the crowd is so all over him that it's hard to hear some of what he says, right? Because the crowd, this is the game they're playing now where they're basically trying to drown him out with booze, which is fine.
I mean, it's a little bit, but I mean, at the same time, I understand. Cause
like, I don't know if he's getting the heel heat they want him to get, or if the fans just don't want him.
I doubt that's what it is, if I'm being honest.
I like to think that it's because they don't want him, but I don't know. That's how I kind of feel.
To think that. Right, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Lambert says they have brought countless championships to Miami and they should be cheered. Jericho introduces Lambert as a fat face dip. Chart, I guess.
Yeah.
I will say Shart.
Nice.
Jericho has a question for Paige Van Zant, who is a female person that is that group.
Can confirm.
That is all I know. And she was there.
She's an MMA fighter. I think she's pretty good. I don't know.
I think she's at least a husband or the
Her
wife.
husband's one of the other ones. Yes.
So there's at least that. I assume she probably wouldn't be there if she wasn't a person.
A fighter person. She is.
So is she?
Yes, she is.
Do you actually know that?
Yes, she is.
Oh. Really? Cool.
Yes, she is an MMA fighter.
He asked if she's like in him or something, and then it's all turned her husband. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why he needed to go that route. It felt really, really like we're past those times, sort of thing, where you immediately make those kind of comments towards the female and then trying to emasculate her husband. It wasn't my favorite thing, but anyways.
Yeah. He says the before them is the reunited Inner Circle, and there will be no more numbers game unless they bring in more MMA people. Like
yes.
This is the Inner Circle. They could just bring in more like MMA people, and then they're done. Jericho says they want a 10-man tag match, and Men of the Year can choose any of the American Top Team members they want. So they could choose Paige Van Zandt. And it's
they should. Let her wail on Jericho.
Exactly. Lambert says they would beat them down every day if it was up to him, but Men of the Year have championship plans. I would hope so. Lambert insults every member of the Inner Circle. I don't remember exactly.
It doesn't matter.
It does not matter. That is true. Lambert says they have terms and he'll announce them next week because he doesn't want to stay in Miami, but I think the match is next week, so I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to insult the city, right?
Right.
In whatever way he could.
Sky tells Jericho he has pinned him twice, or he's pinned the GOAT twice, which I assume is Jericho.
Yep.
And he's now the GOAT and not Jericho. Guevara says he doesn't care how many of them it is. He'll beat them right now, and he says they'll see them next week.
Yeah, I thought Santana sounded really good, and I again have hopes that they get out of Inner Circle. But anyways, I didn't like Jericho's part.
I like Santana Ortiz better as heels.
Jericho seemed like really juvenile and just not really. At this time, it didn't seem like a good promo to make. But anyways, Lambert just takes too long to say what he wants to say at this point, and these segments just kind of die for me, waiting for him to get to the point, right? I find myself just really wanting them to end because something better is going to come after this, guaranteed, right? So I think the Inner Circle as a whole are kind of cold for me. I don't know for anyone else right now.
Yeah, I don't. They were so much better as heels. Like, I remember Jericho's promos were funny, like insulting to whoever he was, like, and they were more clever. Now I just feel like he's like he thinks he's clever, and then I guess he's just getting that applause from the fans because he's Chris Jericho. And
he has the song and everything. I'm hoping I would be fine if they disband.
I also found it kind of annoying that the whole faction came up to his theme. Like,
yeah, I'd be okay if they are done, so that for me specifically, Sammy and Santana and Ortiz were free to do other things. I think, yes, the faction has run their course.
This faction's literally been around as long as Dynamite has.
Right.
And I think they run their course for
sure.
Yeah,
and it feels like they're just kind of together because they need somebody to go against all these MMA people, so you guys will do sort of thing, right?
So the promo work here was fine. It just, it wasn't bad, but it was just fine. I guess since the feud with the Pinnacle is forced to meet its merciful end, this is the Inner Circle's next meaningless and boring, dragged-out faction feud.
Yep, sure seems like
not really looking forward to the tag match next week, but that's going to be happening.
Yeah, it's nothing I am interested in seeing either, unfortunately. So yeah. This is one of the low points on what I thought was a pretty good show.
Although I'll probably take this over the Paul White stuff, so.
Yeah, I guess so.
And Sting. Next we have the Lucha Bros versus Andrade's tag team. For the AAA tag titles, which is Las Superanas. Translation, the Super Frogs. Basically, they are wearing green. I don't know, is it a leotard? Or, no?
Yeah, I don't know, a bodysuit, whatever it is.
Like a bodysuit, yeah. Like a tights bodysuit
kind of kind of like the Conquistadors or back in the day, you know what
I
mean?
Yeah, like that. Well, yeah, that works.
Thanks.
And, so yeah, I thought this was a solid TV match with an interesting twist.
Right.
A lot of holds and counters first. At first, the Super Frogs try to rip the mask off of the Lucha Bros, but it's turned around, and Lucha Bros try to do the same, and eventually the Super Frogs are unmasked to reveal FTR.
And it actually seemed like some of the crowd, right, was honestly surprised by, because I kind of figured it out just looking at
I accidentally got spoiled.
Their size, and just it kind of made sense, right? So I was pretty sure that's who it was, but some of the crowd seemed to actually be surprised, which is cool if that's what you were going for.
No, that's cool. I think it's a cool reveal. It's kind of funny.
Yep.
It does kind of. I guess they're kind of those kind of guys now because they were masked last week.
Right.
When they attacked Darby.
Right.
And Penta props Phoenix to the top rope from the ramp and to hit a double drop kick. So because they have the ramp which goes level with the ring, which I really like actually. The more that I see them do it, because I find, for me, it allows them to do, so much more. I remember, Phoenix and Impact, he would, roll from the ring and, do a cutter on the ramp or something. I just find, because, it's kind of more ring space, because it is level with the ring, right? So it just, I really like it. It allows for so much more. So
and you have the other three sides to do the normal stuff.
Right,
and then you have one side that creates more options.
Exactly,
yep.
Yeah. And so basically, Penta's standing on the end of the ramp, and Phoenix was... because they were brawling on the ramp, so he's on the other side. He runs down Penta. He props him over his head. He lands on the top rope pretty well, actually, and then hits a double drop kick to FTR. Then double dives by the Lucha Bros on the opposite side of the ring. See, so you can do still the normal stuff. Super-Clique to Cash by Penta on the outside after a missed belt shot. There are multiple belt shots attempted.
There are cheaters. Those FTR cheaters.
Cash sends Penta in the timekeeper's table, sorta. Dax gets a handful of tights on a roll-up for 2. Phoenix hits his signature rope rebound heel kick, which I like very much. Tully Blanchard runs down and distracts the ref. And Dax counters a moonsault by Phoenix and hits him in the face with one of the tag titles. And then he hits his, what they call the sheer drop, brain buster. And FTR pick up the win, so they are the new AAA tag team champions, which I find that kind of weird, but
it's interesting. Yeah,
it is interesting and good for them. And it was on AAA's Instagram too, so it's official.
Yeah, and it kind of just helps to push that idea that these titles can change hands on any show with this forbidden door sort of stuff.
It's pretty huge too, because not only I don't think FTR has any history in AAA, but also the Lucha Boys have been reigning since 2019, so it's been over 2 years.
And FTR, I assume, will get some crazy heel heat if they travel and
I think
defend.
That's really cool for AAA because they're a good team.
Yep. So I really enjoyed this match. It had a bit of comedy with FTR in disguise that actually worked, right?
But another funny part is that they didn't even stay hidden for that long.
No, and then some incredible action and in front of a really hot crowd. The Lucha Brothers flew around and did their thing that they always do. And then FTR's the perfect contrast, kind of keeping it simple and kind of smash mouth hard hitting. And then, of course, they have to cheat to win, which for them, I'm totally fine with this. So at this point, I was pretty happy we had 2 strong matches to start the show because I thought this was fun too.
Yeah, I thought this match was pretty good. I think both these teams are talented. I think
there's another level they can go to.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. They can have a much better match, perhaps with all the shenanigans removed.
Yes.
But they still put on a good match despite that, so I think that's a testament to their abilities. It was still good for what it was. I thought the reveal was kind of funny, even though it was a little obvious.
I liked it still.
They definitely don't have the luchador physique.
No, they don't.
I still liked it, yeah. And the result was pretty surprising too, because you wouldn't think that they're winning Mexico's tag titles, but
yeah, it's cool. I'm interested to see where it goes, and I might even tune in and watch them defend if it's some interesting teams and stuff.
Yeah. Next we have an interview with Dante Martin and also Leo Rush. I forgot to mention that Leo
Rush does all the talking for
accompanied
him, right?
Martin in his match with Black, because now he's kind of
representing him or something. There's an affiliation somehow. Yes.
Leo Rush says what happened tonight was meant to happen, and this is just growing pains. He says to grow you need to fail. He says Dante failed because of himself, and he knows that. If he listens to Rush, everything will be money. And he says moving forward, they will be teaming together.
So here's why I kind of like this. It's clear now, I think, that Leo Rush is a heel, right? I would say here. And the fact that you're already affiliated with Dante and he lost, but you're saying that's all Dante's fault and he just has to listen to you. So he wasn't listening to you. Do you know? I just like the tone of how he's kind of and he knows that, right? This kid is so, and it's kind of like he's the veteran who's manipulating Dante because he's kind of naive, it feels like at this point, right?
I think Matt Hardy already does, but I think this is
better. And you can see where it's going because Dante Martin's already, I think, doing enough with his reactions to sort of let us know that eventually he's going to want to speak for himself and make his own decisions, right? But in the meantime, I kind of like the way Leo is doing this, just saying it matter-of-factly, he screwed up, it's his own fault, and he knows that, right? It couldn't possibly be my fault, even though I was there, so I like this. I'm interested to see where it's going.
Yeah. Sorry, my thing scrolled up. So I thought it was a solid promo from Rush. I think the team could have potential, because they are both high flyers. And yeah, I do think Rush is definitely leaning into a heel more.
And I think it's going to be almost reluctant tag team partners, because it's going to be, when's Dante Martin going to stand up to this guy?
Or will he not?
Sort of thing, right? Yeah,
I was thinking either when Dante will stick this out, and then maybe when Darius returns,
right?
Then that's when he kind of ditches
that would make
Leo.
Sense.
Or this could be a pretty cool high flyer faction, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it was smart to have Leo speak, because I don't think Dante is quite as strong.
No, and I thought his reactions were good. He's giving you the hint of you're already kind of maybe not 100% on board with this guy, but you're going to see what he can do for you, I think.
Right. Next we have an interview with the new AAA Tag Team Champions, FTR. They're in a stairwell, because I think they're coming up with Andrade, obviously, because Andrade was the mastermind, I guess.
Yes.
Or sort of.
Yep.
Dax says they're the greatest luchadors of all time, which I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's awesome.
As they are, MJF comes in, they're just yelling and celebrating, because obviously MJF is MJF, so of course he's going to be crazy about this.
Yeah.
Andrade pays MJF, I think, for FTR because he kind of rented them for this.
That's right.
And MJF kind of reminds him it's a one-time thing, but Andrade never, like, kind of clearly answers that.
No.
So that's kind of, like, I don't know, hinting at something.
And do you remember, because I'm thinking right now, when the money changed hands, FTR were already gone?
Yeah.
So they might not even know. Do you know what I mean? Because in the future, are they going to be annoyed because shouldn't some of that money go to them? Like, who's MJF? He doesn't own them, you know what I mean? Why is he getting money?
That's true.
So I wonder if that... Because AEW
because MJF told them to get out of there because, like, the thing was, like, Lucha Bros are probably angry.
Because AEW does a good job of coming back to things, like, a couple months later, right? So that's just something I kind of noticed there that I was wondering. I like that...
That's true.
I like that Andrade is, like, spending his own money to just mess with the Death Triangle, right? So I kind of...
Yeah, I do think that's kind of funny.
I kind of like that's a baller move for him, right? He's, like, the final boss, and he's setting up all of these obstacles along the way. So I kind of like this.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun little segment. I thought both MJF's excitement and his interaction with Andrade to be amazing because he's, like, half speaking Spanish.
Yes.
And, like, I don't know. I thought it was really funny.
Me too.
Next, we get John Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. A description, squash.
Yes.
Notables, which is basically the entire match. Mox he comes from the crowd real pissed off.
Super angry.
Yes. So he attacks right away. Crossface shots, X-Plex, ground and pound forearms, and a paradigm shift for the win.
Honestly, my first note was Mox super aggressive to start, and basically by the time I had written that, it was pretty much over, right? So we talked about this a little bit. So my only criticism is I don't love that it's Yuta being squashed, but I don't think it really matters. But if you're going to do a squash, this is how you do it, right? The squasher, as I call it, Mox in this case, he looks badass, and that's what you're kind of going for, right? These squashes where nobody really comes out of it looking any different or better or not that meaningful.
Like NXT.
Yeah, I thought this was like what it needed to be. He looked super aggressive and focused, and he took it out on Yuta. And I guess it's the idea that Yuta is young and wasn't ready for a fired up Moxley, right? So I was totally fine with the squash. Other than, I mean, I don't love that it's Yuta, but I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't think that was that I don't love that it was Yuta here. I thought this was kind of cool. I thought it was really amusing how he just came in, kicked Yuta's ass, and left.
Right.
And I think it really made sense because he came up short last week in the ladder match.
Exactly.
So I think it works. I mean, I don't... Like, I guess Yuta, like, he hasn't really done anything, so I guess it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't really matter too much.
And it's just impressive that Mox, who we've seen a ton, now he's a little bit different. He's found a way again, right, that if this is his new style, it's clearly different even from what he's done before. So it's interesting that he's so versatile, you know?
Yes. Next we get an interview with Serena Deeb. Deeb says it was only a matter of time before she had to drag the division up to her level. When asked about her attitude change, she says she watched as the division got too comfortable during her sabbatical, and then she's interrupted by an attack from Shida, and they brawl. I thought this was a really nice little promo from Deeb, and
yep.
it really makes sense from heel point of view, I think.
Yes.
Nice heel logic.
And I like that this simple idea, right, that Serena Deeb is going to keep denying Shida of her 50th win. So I think that's like a really simple way to have these two have multiple matches. You know what I mean? Like clearly we're going to get at least one more. And it's just really simple on a show that's got some more detailed stories to be like...
she keeps cutting off Shida from other matches. Like,
right.
Like Shida will face someone like, I don't know, like Penelope Ford. And even though, like, that's probably a win for Shida, here comes Deeb to screw her out of it.
And Deeb can just, for whatever reason, be obsessed with not letting Shida get her 50th win.
Right, maybe,
you know
like,
what I mean?
they could pull, like, the spotlight should be on me because I'm the best. Or, like,
right.
Or, like, you should, like, stop focusing on Shida. She lost the title. She should be out of the spotlight. Like, something like that.
So I think it's a really simple way to open up a lot of opportunities for them to have matches and just at least be interacting with each other. So I liked it.
Next we get the Super-Clique, which is Adam Cole and the Young Bucks within the Elite, versus the Dark Orders, Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. And while not our ideal Dark Order trio, it's also not.
Yep, didn't have Colt Cabana
kind of right
in
the middle, right?
Yes.
So I think that's nice.
Yeah.
If I had to, I'd replace Reynolds with
Grayson,
or I would even go with Grayson instead of Uno if we're doing Silver and Reynolds, because Silver and Reynolds are pretty good.
They do have some awesome chemistry and moves.
If you're doing 4 Dark Order members, it's Uno, Grayson, Silver, Reynolds,
right.
obviously.
I agree.
Next, sorry, I meant description. I thought this was really entertaining. It was an action-packed trios match. Notables, like, while Dark Order posing for their at the end of their entrance, like once they're in the ring. They get attacked from behind from the Super-Clique. Crossbody to the Bucks by Reynolds. Corner barrage to Nick. They all hit corner moves. Even Matt Jackson tries to attack and accidentally hits Nick in the corner. A double team face buster by Reynolds and Silver. Beal throw to Nick by Silver. Domagiri by Nick. And he takes out, or Domagiri by Silver, I meant. And he takes everyone out on the outside until cheap shot by Matt Jackson as Callis is running away, which I thought was kind of funny because Silver is like very short.
He is tiny.
Cole blocks a suicide dive from Reynolds with an enziguri. Double super kick Patel drop brainbuster by the Super-Clique on the outside, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
The Bucks hit their signature double hip toss, backflip, double drop kick. Corner stomps by Cole after tagging in, then an Adam Cole baby.
Mm-hmm.
Silver attempts to fight them all off in the corner, but Cole hits a swinging neckbreaker to regain control. A double suplex by Silver to the Bucks post-commercial break, and Uno tags in and gets a hot tag flurry. Uno takes a shoe and sock off of Nick's right foot and uses the sock for a mandible claw, Mankind homage.
Right.
But Cole breaks out the super kick. Super-Clique go for the camel clutch double kiss thing, but Silver and Reynolds take out the Bucks and double kiss Cole instead, which is pretty funny.
And Adam Cole's face, right? Like he's
good.
A
great expressionist.
Absolutely.
Yes. Flurry by Silver and Reynolds, the signature flurry of them, and then Uno falls to the move he calls something evil, which I thought it was a pretty cool move. I think I may have seen him hit it before.
That whole sequence leading
and then
to that was awesome.
I also really enjoyed the name, and Reynolds covers Cole as he is legal, but the Bucks break the pin. Wrecking ball dropkick to Uno and Silver by Matt, followed by a topic on Hilo by Nick. Great exchange between Reynolds and Cole towards the end, until a double super kick and a Panama Sunrise to Reynolds. The Bucks coming with the double super kick. Uno and Silver also eat super kicks as they go up to the apron, and then Reynolds takes a BT trigger and a last shot from the Super-Clique for the win for the Super-Clique. And then post-match, Jungle Boy runs out trying to attack the Super-Clique, is easily overwhelmed. He gets sent to the outside, grabs a chair, and they run off, leaving Cutler to get beaten down and put in the snare trap.
Right. I thought this was another super fun match, and the final few minutes of this were insane. I don't personally care about the refs' lack of control, but I know people are. Even JR can't help but complain while the match is on. He just can't stop himself by pointing out that the referee should be counting something. That's what he said. I just enjoy watching stuff like this. There was an amazing sequence there near the end by the Dark Order with Uno finishing with that move. And then Reynolds...
Something evil?
And as you said, Reynolds and Cole looked really good together in their little sequence before the end of the match.
That pleasantly surprised me.
Yeah, it looked really good. So the Bucks and Cole did what they always do, and they're really making Cole look strong because he keeps being the one to pin everybody and everything, right? Which is a nice little nod to him.
He still hasn't been there that long, right? So.
And I just say my notes here, go compare this to anything you'll see in WWE sports entertainment. I dare you, right? And include the crowd in this as well, right? And you're not going to find anything that's this fun. And maybe for some WWE super fans, this is just too ridiculous and there's no control by the ref. But it's really a lot of fun to watch for me, and that's all I care about. So I really like this.
Yeah, I thought this was a really fun match. There was a lot of there's stuff all over the place. I thought it was a great TV match. Everyone got in some good offense. Some of my favorites were obviously the Silver and Reynolds flurry and the Something Evil from Uno. And then the finishing sequence is also great. And I thought Reynolds looked strong, taking a lot of offense as well.
He did. He looked good.
He took a buttload of stuff towards the end. I also thought Reynolds looked really good before taking that barrage. And that end stretch when he and Cole were going back and forth, I thought that was really good. It surprised me. I think Reynolds...
I almost feel like they'll find a way, if we both noticed it without really talking about it, they might find a way to give them a singles match somewhere, right? Because I thought the chemistry there was good.
Yeah. It was just a really frenzy back and forth towards them, but it looked great. And I thought the Reynolds and Silver were placing the Bucks to kiss Cole, which I thought was pretty funny.
Another comedy spot in a match that
worked. Especially because he was doing the and then but he didn't even notice until
it was great.
It was done.
Yep.
Yeah. The result was pretty predictable, but I thought this was a really fun match. Probably my favorite thing so far. Maybe my favorite overall.
Nice. It was a fun match for sure.
Next we get a Cody and Arn segment. They're hopping on a Ford truck going to the Nightmare Factory, although I guess maybe it's not the factory anymore because now it's the Rhodes Academy.
Right.
Gotta have Cody Rhodes' name in there, right?
Of course you do. Branding.
He gets roasted by all the Nightmare trainees like Lee Johnson and Red Velvet, and because he was late and stuff.
And Red Velvet like slaps him, which I thought was a bit too far, right? Like she yells at him and then slaps him across the face, which I was like,
but, I mean,
it's still Cody Rhodes and you're still Red Velvet.
I would do that too.
I know, but anyways.
Yeah. We cut to Cody training in the Rhodes Academy with the trainees and getting caught off guard by Brock as Arn shouts instructions. Cody asks what they are doing and he isn't learning anything. Arn says Cody said he wouldn't let the kids down. And he says Malakai Black has it coming because he tells a thing about how he had it coming against Dusty or something.
Right, like he admits, like, that he cut him for 30 stitches or something, he said like that, and I'm okay with it because I can't believe I'm admitting this, but I had it coming, and Malakai Black has it coming, so you need to embrace that.
That is incorrect. Cody already had it coming.
It's like you need to embrace that, whatever you need to do to get rid of this guy. You've got to go to the next level of
you need
whatever.
To embrace your inner star.
That's right. Yes. This had a Lucha Underground feel to it with like the one guy fighting off a whole bunch of other guys in like a dramatic setting. And I thought Arn did a great job again and told a great story at the end of this. So he kind of saved this segment for me. I thought it was a little bit cheesy leading up to Arn, but I thought he was really good. And I'm liking this story with Cody. So I guess all it took for me to really like a babyface Cody story was for it really to be about someone else, right? Because it's mostly Arn Anderson, and I quite like it. So I thought this was good as well. Like I'm liking a Cody storyline right now.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was kind of cool, but I'm disappointed. It seems to be Cody's redemption arc rather than his turn and indulgence into the dark side. Still a fine segment regardless, and I really don't think he can beat Malakai Black without Stardust.
And maybe he never does beat Malachi. Maybe he doesn't get his win back, but it feels like that's where it's going. It feels
like that's where it's going, but I really don't, because they do advertise a third match for next week.
Right.
Which I don't love, because the whole point of a third match usually for me is that it's a tiebreaker.
It should be the final one.
When Cody's got his ass kicked twice already.
He has.
So it really doesn't warrant a third match too much, especially when the first was like, he got Brody lead.
Yeah, and regardless of what Cody does, he's already lost twice to this guy. So.
Right.
Right.
But, I mean, he make it thrice.
Could be a good match, too, so that's fine. Cody comes through in big matches, usually.
Yeah. Next we get what is supposed to be MJF versus Darby Allen, but MJF, of course, is kind of in a promo. He tells the crowd to silence. He's mad that Justin Roberts didn't introduce him, so he does his own introduction while, like, he throws in insults while he's doing that, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He tells Darby to come out, and he says he doesn't think Darby is here, and he thinks he broke Darby mentally because he has no-showed like a coward, and then he acts as if he has, like, a earpiece. He's shocked to learn that Darby was attacked last week, and he feels horrible, and he had no idea.
Because we knew that was coming,
I thought that was really funny, though.
Me too.
He says it's still unprofessional that Darby didn't show up, and he will always be number 2. He says he is number 1 since he cares about the fans, and they want to see him wrestle Darby Allen. He calls up Wardlow, who has Bryce Remsburg, the referee, with him. He tells the ref to count to 10. If Darby doesn't come, he'll win via countout. Lights go out just after 9. And who is it? Oh, wait, it's Sting. Crap.
Of course.
Yay, it's Sting, which is so much better than Darby Allin. I am very happy about this. MJF flees as Sting hits Wardlow with the bat, and then MJF fakes re-entering the ring and walks off again.
Yeah, I mean, MJF is just such a throwback, and he can work a crowd like almost nobody else. And the AEW crowd are cooperative, right? They're not going to cheer him even if they like him. They're gonna boo him because they're supposed to, I think, for the most part. And honestly, I got to give credit to Tony Schiavone because he gets so upset at MJF as like it's believable, and I think it really adds to it because he just hates MJF and he can't keep being.
Well, he kind of represents us in that way,
and he can't help. He's supposed to be objective, right? Commentary, and he just can't help himself because this guy's such a scumbag, and I think that adds to everything.
That definitely bolsters MJF, right? Because he's pretty much always impartial, like as long as he can be.
But this guy's just such a dirtbag, and so MJF through this, he shifts from like furious and yelling at fans to being sarcastic and funny in like an instant. I mean, to nitpick this, it probably could have been a little bit shorter, but I mean, MJF's an amazing performer, so I say give him room. I thought this was also a good use of Sting. He took out one man with a bat and he didn't talk and he didn't linger, right? So though it's not like he came out and fought off 6 men in their prime. He hit a guy with a bat.
Or 3 men from Team
I thought this was good.
Solid promo from MJF. I thought it was great work as always. I don't like him being afraid of Sting, but I guess it does work better for him than most people. MJF is afraid of anyone, but I don't think anyone should be afraid of Sting. He's old, just like.
But he has a bat, and MJF's MJF, so he's gonna run away.
Kick him in the leg, and he's dead.
Sure.
Hopefully we still end up getting MJF versus Darby, because that should be good.
Yeah.
Next we get an interview with Anna Jay. of the Dark Order. Britt Baker interrupts and she says the Super-Clique be Anna's loser friends. She says Anna is a loser too, and she's just followed. Brawl erupts, and the referees are immediately there.
Yeah, there was six of them there.
Right, and this is not the case with Deeb and Shida, which was essentially the same thing. So.
Yep, I thought Britt was funny here because she was at one point like, technically they lost the last match they had, so they're losers, right? I don't know, just her confidence and her attitude entertains me every time she is on the screen, pretty much. So the refs being there was a little bit ridiculous. But I think it feels like maybe this is bringing up a couple placeholder challengers, as we call them, for Britt on her way to whoever's next, right? You could kind of have her take on Anna Jay and Tay Conti before whatever's next for her, sort of thing.
Yeah. I thought Baker had some good lines here, and I think like the way that she's like really talking about the Super-Clique, and she said baby, I think she would be kind of cool as a member of the Elite, like a female member of the Elite.
She would,
because they do not have any female ranks.
As long as everybody stays heel, right?
Right, because
Britt can't go face, I don't think.
No, because she's cool and she has already that link to Adam Cole.
And there was a reference for the first time,
right?
So.
And Anna Jay's already in the Dark Order, so that could add another layer to a potential Elite versus Dark Order series, which I would like to see, other than Doc Ellis.
Or even they could, if they don't want to make her full Elite, she could have like a temporary alliance for a match or something, right?
She's like at least around, or like that's backup sometimes, or. And then you could have like Elite affiliated, maybe her and Hayter versus
Hayter. I forgot about her.
Jay and TJ.
Yep,
I guess
TJ.
Yes,
they can use their matching outfits again. I still remember that. Like I've never seen them wrestle a tag team match. They're not a tag team. They have full matching
pretty
outfits.
sure they've wrestled before.
I guess they have. Maybe on internet matches that I don't watch.
Probably. That sounds right.
That sounds right.
It does. Next we have Kiera Hogan versus Penelope Ford.
Low point alert.
Contain your excitement, y'all.
Low point alert.
I'm pretty sure that's just you containing your excitement.
I am. I had hopes. I like Kiera Hogan a lot. Yes. And I think Penelope, I almost called her because we just call her Penelope, right? Or Penelope. I think Penelope's okay. I don't think she's great, but...
Yeah, she's just Kip Sabian's sidekick, you know? So.
Yes, good old Kip Sabian.
Yes. Hopefully he's back soon. So I thought this was a fine women's division match with a couple sloppy bits. There was this really bad arm drag by Ford at the beginning after some back and forth.
Quote unquote, JR. Penelope couldn't figure out what she wanted to do with that arm. No kidding.
Yes. And I told you it's kind of funny because I keep writing whatever move by Hogan.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
And Punk made a reference, right? He said, do you think there's a relation or no relation or something like that? And they didn't really want to acknowledge what he was really talking about. So
that's pretty funny, though. Yeah. Corner clothesline by Hogan. Hogan avoids a corner boot from Ford and hits a neckbreaker for 2. Bulldogging in the middle turnbuckle by Ford, which was kind of interesting.
That was cool.
A pretty nice superplex by Hogan. Clothesline and back elbow by Hogan. A shotgun dropkick and a basement dropkick in the corner for 2 by Hogan. Not a bad sequence. Jumping center by Ford. Handspring cutter. And she taps Hogan out with that Muda lock, which is basically like she traps with the legs, like behind her leg, bends back into the kind of a last chancery kind of thing. And then Ruby Soho attacks Ford because of something that happened on Rampage. Brass knucks because Bunny and Ford can't go 1 week without using brass knucks on somebody.
Of course. This match for sure had a couple issues along the way. Some moves weren't clean, and then some, like the superplex, it looked good, but it took longer than it should to set up, right? Like Hogan was stepping on Ford's hands as she was... Anyways, there was just... I thought the second half was better. Hogan finally got to showcase some of her ability. Like, I really like her when she runs around the perimeter and hits that low kick in the corner. It looks really good. I don't think this match was very good, unfortunately. There were some cool looking things along the way, but some sloppiness along there too. So I really like Hogan, but a match like this is not going to help her get noticed in the right way. And man, Bunny and Penelope Ford, they are mid-card fodder for upper card talent, and it seems like it gets them on TV all the time. So it's not a bad spot to have, probably, right? The crowd, I thought, tried to get into this, but they kind of struggled as well.
I don't love Ford and Bunny just because, like, they're not the best in the ring. They're not really doing anything. There's literally no reason for them to exist because there's no tag titles.
They're not going to be able to elevate Hogan if you're trying to, like... I guess they're not really trying to showcase her, though. It doesn't look like. What
I mean is, like, they can't accomplish anything as a team,
no.
Ford and Bunny, because there's nothing to
accomplish. They get on TV every week.
Yes,
right? When a lot of women do not, so...
Yes. This match was fine, but it had some sloppy parts, and overall wasn't the best. There were a couple of spots that were good, but overall I didn't love this, and that math wasn't super important either.
No.
I feel like they could replace one of the dark shows with a women's YouTube show.
And Ruby Riott in street clothes threw me off too, like ripped jeans and a white tank top. I don't know. Just seems strange. She's usually...
I feel like I don't think we need Dark Elevation. I think... Because what you could do with Dark is, like, you have, like, a bunch of squash matches and one or two somewhat legitimate matches between maybe low-card talent, and you replace Dark Elevation with, like, a women's show. Because I feel like they could benefit from that, and then they don't have more TV time, so that's the ideal place to put it.
They seem to get just one match a week in the same spot.
Or
almost.
you switch Rampage to a women's show. But
that'd be cool.
That probably wouldn't work, because the TBS title is the women's title, right? And I'm pretty sure only Dynamite will move to TBS. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I think Rampage is staying on TNT, because I don't think they're really fighting for a Friday at 10 p.m. slot.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? I think that's only why Dynamite is moving, because the constant slot shift.
Right.
For example, this
Exhibit A this week, yes.
And that like month where it was on Friday.
Yes,
and we were like
that was annoying.
Up crazy late. Yeah,
Didn't
that
like
was
that.
basically the Rampage slot essentially.
It was.
So next we get a promo from Miro, non-God's favorite champion, God's favorite loser.
Former champion.
I feel like it'd be funny if it was God's favorite loser, because like he's a loser.
Well, he's getting mad at his God here.
Yeah.
So who knows?
He asks if him getting beaten is funny to you, referring to God.
Yep.
And he can't go home to his wife like this. He asks if this amuses you, and asks why he's been forsaken. He says he is done playing around, and his God will make him his champion again, or he will make him his enemy. And he says everyone else will know pain until he is once again God's favorite champion. What'd you think?
I kind of like this. He's like, after one loss, he's really overreacting, right? And he's basically questioning his faith and willing to forsake his God after one match. So I feel like what this does, and I could be wrong, but it gives him the opportunity to step away from the title scene and just go back to dominating people for a while, because I don't think Sammy can lose the belt anytime soon, and I don't think you can have Miro the way he's been presented lose again. You know what I mean? In this
At least
current
lose
character.
to Sammy again, or like not without some build up.
Right. So I think this is like allows him to step back and just kill people for a while.
He could lose to Sammy again, just like I
Not
agree.
now.
I think he needs to pursue something else and
Right,
maybe
so
work his way to Sammy.
I feel like that's what's happening here. So it didn't have the humor little bit that it usually had, but I still like this. I thought it's very on brand for him.
Yeah, I really like this. I thought it was cool how it addressed his loss to Sammy, but also is in line with the Redeemer character.
Yep.
I think it'll be cool, and I don't know, I'm curious to see what he'll do. And I think we do see the bracket for the Eliminator tournament at the end, which I'll talk about, but I feel like guys like him and Cole should have been in
the Eliminator
tournament.
Yeah.
But I will talk about that more when we get to that. Next, we get to hear from Hangman Page, which I was quite looking forward to.
In a really sweet cactus shirt.
Yes.
I liked it.
Tony Schiavone mentions Hangman's ladder match victory and introduces him. He reminds us of Hangman's loss in last year's Eliminator Tournament Finals. He says he's excited for Full Gear. He says he and his friends left Japan in Ring of Honor, and he was excited because he believed in their vision, talking about the start of AEW. And the world changed him rather than them changing the world, because he talks about, he said he would become the first AEW champion, and he failed to do so, and recounts how much he lost early on and lost his confidence in his friends, but he never lost the fans chanting cowboy.
Yep,
thing,
he didn't.
Which they say a lot, which is really helpful for me when we can't actually say that here.
People know what you mean.
Yes, but it's really annoying.
Cowboy crap. Just use crap. That's my nice catch-all word.
Cowboy shiitake potato fart?
Sure.
Yes. He says that represents everything he's been through, and he goes into specifics, which I did not. He says last week he finally picked up the phone and won the casino ladder match, and the one thing that has eluded him, which is a shot at the title, I guess. That's kind of true.
Yeah.
Because he didn't win the tournament. He lost that 10-man tag. That's actually true, because I thought it was kind of confusing, he was talking about the title, but you don't have the title yet. But I guess he hasn't really even been able to get a shot.
Have a shot, yeah.
He lost the only other time he had a shot, which was against Jericho, and then he was tagging with Omega for basically the rest of the year, then lost the tournament. And
right.
Then,
He speaks the truth.
He does speak the truth.
Yes.
He says he doesn't know how Full Gear will end for him, but he feels the fans still believe in him. He believes too. He says he promises to give everything a Full Gear, and he promised to give us Cowboy stuff.
Yes. I thought this was really good, and promos like this make it feel like they are getting ready to give this guy the ball to let him run with it, right? And it's exactly what we were hoping for, at least on this podcast. They
can't not.
He sounds natural. He clearly connects with the crowd. He started out a little bit sheepish, right? And then he summarized basically his journey to get here and ended with some really good intensity. So, I mean, a lot of times I think these segments are too long, but this one felt just right for me. I thought it was really good promo by, I think, what is the next champion and face of this company for a little while.
It's weird to think it's been a while and they've only had 3 world champions.
Yeah, I kind of like they're not turning it over too fast or keeping people with it too long. It feels like it's been just about right for me. But yeah, I think
Omega, I want to say he's the longest reigning champion, maybe, or
not Jericho.
No, Moxley was that.
Yeah, that's true too.
Longer than Jericho, and I think Omega, at least he should be longest reigning champion if he's not, because I feel like his character warrants the longest title run. And
he had 1 million belts and whatnot.
Yes, he did. I thought it was a great promo for Hangman, especially considering it's his first since he took a hiatus. I hope we get to see another segment with him next week where he actually goes against where Omega and the Elite are actually involved, because I think that will be much more enjoyable. But overall, this was a great promo.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah, and we come to our main event, which is Bobert Fish versus Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
And this was a competitive and very technically sound match between 2 very similar wrestlers.
Very technical, yes.
Yes. Some knee lifts and a shoulder tackle by Fish, followed by a kick to the back. Surfboard hold, which is where they kind of have the legs trapped, and they would he would pull on the arms and kind of hold them up above him, but he didn't apply the hold. He just had the legs trapped, and he does a leg stomp in that. Does Bryan. Fish rams Bryan's leg in the ring post, kind of where you have their crotchular area in front of the post, but and either of their legs are beside the post, and you kind of swing. You swing one into the post. One of those. Corner strikes by Fish. Fish bends Bryan's left leg around the middle rope and pulls on it. More forms by Fish, beating Bryan to the mat in a basement lariat for 2. Whoops. Bryan counters a half crab by Fish and tries to get an ankle lock and turns that into a kind of a leg trap German suplex, which is pretty cool. Bryan rams Fish's leg into the ring post the same way Fish did earlier. Fish catches a kick and hits a nice Saito suplex for 2. Very nice avalanche Falcon arrow by Fish, which I really like the more that I see it.
It looked awesome.
But Fish immediately transitioned into a knee bar off the kick out, very clean. And so then he tries to Bryan tries to get an Achilles lock, and he kind of tries to do the same.
Yes.
So they're holding each other's legs, which they've both been targeting each other's legs, so it does make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're kind of kicking each other while in the hold. And then after Bryan gets up, he locks in a heel hook really suddenly and taps out Fish for the win.
Yeah, it's weird. I have enjoyed Bobby Fish more in AEW than I think in NXT. Just because he was the
Other
third...
than I did like him when he was teaming with O'Reilly, though.
But he was still kind of the third or fourth banana, right?
Because I thought O'Reilly and Strong were even better together.
Right. So, I love the pace of his matches that I'm seeing. It's not exactly... They're not fast, but it's it feels really measured, and that he's just constantly moving forward and coming at as an opponent with a variety of different moves, right? Because he is so diverse in his offense. I thought his heel work was really a lot better than sometimes here. He interacted a lot with the fans on this one, and they were sort of getting mad at him, which was great. Danielson almost feels like he's wrestling with a bit more of an edge to him as well. He's kind of shaking off the sports entertainment shackles, right? And now he's just a wrestler, and he's doing what he wants to do, and I think it suits him so much better. And even though I knew Fish had no chance to win this, I thought this was an excellent technical match. It's amazing how much
better they've been able to present him in the span of 3 or 4 matches.
Yes, and this was
I think it's another feather in their cap.
Excellent technical match, but without too many of the holds and counters that I kind of bogged me down. This was more
pure wrestling.
This was more like a mirror match. One guy does one thing to the other, and then it came back and it was sort of reversed. But a clear heel and babyface dynamic. The finish kind of came out of nowhere, but if the story was how evenly matched these guys are, it kind of makes sense, right? So I thought a really good main event, and I can't believe how much I'm enjoying AEW Bobby Fish, because I am.
Yeah. I thought this was a great main event. Both of them worked the same style here, but they meshed well. Fish has looked much better in AEW in just a few matches than he looked in NXT, especially in his solo runs, because he didn't get much time solo, more so towards the end.
Right.
Which his ring gear is pretty similar, which is kind of funny. This was just a good pro wrestling match, and the sudden end made sense because of all the heavy leg targeting throughout the match. And before we end the show, we do get the reveal of the World Title Eliminator Tournament bracket reveal. So the matches for the first round are going to be Dark Order's 10 versus John Moxley. Figure out who's going to win that. I don't know. Orange Cassidy versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Dustin Rhodes versus Bryan Danielson, which is odd because Dustin Rhodes has not been in for a while.
Strange.
Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston as well.
I would say Danielson's my favorite, probably.
Yes. So not the most exciting field for me, with only a few options to win. I don't exactly remember the full bracket last year, but I do remember getting Hangman Omega was the finals, obviously. And I remember there was Penta Phoenix, because I'm pretty sure Phoenix won, but got injured, so Penta faced Omega. So there's Penta Omega. So boom, already better.
Right.
And also lack of potential heel winners makes me slightly skeptical of Hangman winning. Like,
obviously, I was wondering
he's
that too.
most likely going to win, and they could obviously do babyface versus babyface. I'm just saying babyface versus heel obviously works better.
Unless this is Mox turning heel as his
that'd
rage
be cool.
is growing, right? I don't know.
I would like that.
Yep.
I think Cole should be in here. I think he'd be good, or Miro. I think you definitely have to eliminate Andrade, yes. Even Pac can turn heel whenever he needs to. I really think you take out at least Dustin Rhodes, because I don't see him ever winning anything in AEW. I don't
see what he's done to be in it, frankly.
Right. Even 10, but I guess he could be a decent fodder for Mox.
Yeah.
I would even maybe consider taking Lance Archer, because he's been in a lot of stuff without winning it. Like
maybe he's the heel that wins this. That's possible, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Or maybe you take out Eddie Kingston, honestly, because
I
don't know. I think there are some missteps here, but overall, it's a fine field.
Yep. Overall thoughts, I guess, time?
Yeah, you can go.
So I really enjoyed this show yet again, especially in ring. So really enjoyed the Black Dante Martin opener, the AAA tag title match, the Dark Order Super-Clique, and the main event, right? The only two other things were the Mox squash match, which I think served its purpose really well, and the Hogan Ford, which was easily the low point in ring. And then the only segment I didn't really care for was probably the Lambert Inner Circle stuff again. But I thought MJF, Hangman, Cody, and Arn all had strong segments tonight. Miro's story seems to be evolving. Britt Baker was amusing, so I thought that was pretty strong as well. My issues with this show, if there were any, were pretty minor. Overall, I thought it was excellent, and I'm happy to say that I am giving it a full-on A this week, because I enjoyed this pretty much top to bottom.
Nice. So I thought Black versus Martin was a good opener and another showcase for Martin. Jurassic Express bit was fine. I wasn't super interested in the American Top Team Inner Circle segment, but it wasn't terrible. Lucha Bros FTR was good with a surprising result. Leo Rush cut a good promo in his interview, or in the Dante Martin interview thingy. FTR segment was good with MJF and Andrade. Mox vs. Yuda was fast squash. Kind of amusing, served its purpose, like you said. I liked Deeb's interview. Trios match was awesome. My favorite thing on the show, probably. I think I liked it a little better than the main event, actually.
Nice.
It was just really fun.
It was.
Good teams. Like, I remember seeing that. It was advertised, and I was like, yes.
It felt like the openers they were giving us forever, remember? Like the 6-man tags that were always just super fun.
Right. The Cody Arn segment was fine. MJF cut another good promo, but I didn't love the involvement in Sting. Baker Jay interaction was amusing. Ford Hogan was the show's only real misstep in terms of in-ring action.
For sure.
Miro's promo was good. Hangman had a great return promo. And the main event was also a great match. Once again, we start and end with a good match.
Yes.
You love to see
It's
it.
been like a month in a row of that,
right.
I think.
I also like the Eliminator tournament bracket reveal. Good to see that. And Rampage next week looks really good. We've heard good things about Pac and Andrade.
I've heard amazing things, like possibly best match in quite a while. So
and
I'm pumped.
that the tournament starts on that show as well.
Cool.
I remember something else looked good, I think, but I don't remember. Overall enjoyable show. I would probably give it an A-.
Nice.
Just short of your grade.
Right. Well,
that is
you're doing the sign-off, so go for it.
If you want to contact us, fnswrestling@gmail.com.
That gets you me.
That is him. FNS_wrestling_podcast Instagram. That is me. You can also comment on our YouTube, like, and subscribe, please. Thanks.
Yep.
And we'll see you next.
I'll be back.
next Saturday and Sunday, next
Yes.
weekend, and he's going to be putting up Ring of Honor most likely tomorrow.
Yep, I think so.
If not Tuesday.
Right.
And yes, that is everything.
All right. Good job, buddy.
Goodbye, people.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yes.